Hello!
Hello there.
My apologies for the long intro. Things are happening that I have to sort. But I've decided that even though I still have to sort them, we can at least come over to here and say hello.
Yes,
And get the
and you
stream
guys
sort of
can.
properly started.
Yes, and you can enjoy our wonderful audio while we do. Which has been somewhat quiet for the last few minutes because I've been focusing.
Let's go! Thank you, friend! 47 months? That's almost a year. Thank you. My goodness, and a tier 3 as well. You always gotta save it for when we're actually here, which I very much appreciate.
Damn it. Blue, I realize I can never give you another gifted sub. I have 69 gifted subs.
Then why are you even here? I'm joking. That's a joke.
How about in like 8 years' time, I'll have 420 given, okay?
There you go. That's the goal. We gotta keep going.
We'll do that in a bit. Because my own sub is good, I think, till fucking... Oh shit! My one refreshes the day before my birthday. That's hilarious.
Hey!
Which, funnily enough, is exactly 2 weeks from now.
Woo!
Time is progressing, chat, and I'd prefer it not to. Alas, we are here.
Then things sure do start coming and they don't stop coming.
Mm-hmm. And they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. They don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. Monkey. There's a monkey in the chat. Community, get the ass.
Ranguru? Me and Core both got very upset because towards the end of the stream yesterday an Absol appeared and neither of us got it. Core because he was on mobile and couldn't type it out in time, and me because I was so concentrated on the work that I just didn't see the notification. And we were both like, no, Absol!
Lol.
I do have a Flygon though, so heh.
Ooh, nice. As we all know, I have no bias towards Flygons at all. I may also have just taken a moment to get my Pokeballs sorted, but let's see if I can catch that little motherfucker.
By some months. Hi, Larson! How you been?
Hello.
Feels like it's been a while.
Yeah. If you'd like to, Larton, we have a little Pokemon community game going on where people can catch Pokemon and so on.
There's a little, like, panel down below. Again, refresher for anybody who didn't see it. It got introduced on Sunday. There's a panel beneath the channel with all the other panels, with all the descriptors and my links and stuff. Which has the game, but in order to do it, you gotta do !Poker Start, which will give you your starter, and every 15 minutes, one Pokemon appears in the chat, and you try to catch it. And if you are an active chatter, you will generate money with which you can buy Pokeballs.
Yes.
And it's a game that just runs.
Huzzah!
You got a Totodile! God damn it, I'm so jealous. That's my favorite!
You got two Totodile appreciators here, and we're gonna take your blood and
you
your
got Totodile!
Larton, you have a choice. Give me your kidneys or the Totodile.
Trade me your Totodile. And you got Turtwig! Oh, sweet turtle boy!
Ah, Fuck off, Paparia.
I got to litten.
I have a score bunny. I'm actually not that fussed. I like score bunny. They're kind of cool. It's like
I need Curls to play because if I would be honest, if on the off chance Curls started and she got a Totodile, I would ask if she wanted to trade her Totodile for my little. I'll give you kidneys. No.
Nice try, Larton. I know you. I'm not taking your fucking kidneys. You want to get rid of those.
Hello, my friend. Welcome on in.
Chaotix.
We're just getting started in here. I'm sorting out a couple of things on my phone.
Giant fucking cannon. So, I'll happily talk about this thing that I'm currently working on because it's honestly just it's dumb funny. It's dumb funny in the best way. So, in the last edition, one of the last sets of models that got released for the Space Marines were these things called a Desolation Squad. The meme of this is that, wow, this is the first time we've not had a Devastator, Eradicator, Eliminator, and it's not a Tor. I guess they're done with the Tories. It's a Desolation unit, and you might ask, what does the Desolation unit, wield? What do they bring onto the battlefield? Just essentially giant rectangle cardboard boxes. Like, if you remember that one scene from Toy Story 1 where the kid's showing up and it's like, oh, it's only a little toy, and he turns around and it's fucking huge.
Yeah.
It's those. It's just giant cardboard boxes that just shoot grenades. That's it. They shoot a fuck ton of grenades. In the last edition, they were kind of balanced because grenades were, for lack of a better term, absolute rubbish. But in this edition, they are essentially mortar teams with grenades. Because they can shoot what's called indirect fire. Meaning they say, oh, you're behind this cover? That's nice. These grenades can go over walls, and just start launching them at people. They are currently a bit meta-breaky, so that's why I'm only going to be fielding 5 of the 10 I have the access to. Primarily because I play slow armies, and I want someone to actually run at me, so I'm gonna shell you with grenades until you come at me.
Okay, I think I might be sorted now. Oof.
Hey, we love to see it.
Playing card, but I'm lurking. Don't worry, we love lurkers here. The more lurkers, the better.
Lurk. Okay, so when are we getting a lurk emote?
When I'm finished with this commission, I guess. when I have no commissions to do and I've got nothing to do, more emotes will be made.
You heard it here first, guys. Stop commissioning her.
Wait, commission me to make emotes. That's a thing you can do. I also do stickers. Da 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 da. Stickers are easier than emotes because they're bigger.
Yeah. Also, you can find out more about anything she does over at twitter.com/BlueSkyWolfO'Night or SW Creations.
There we go.
You can also check out her Discord over at that URL.
Give me money so that I can make things. That is all that my life is hi, give me money so that I can make things that bring me joy.
Fair. Oh, Blue as well. I've gotten things set up with family to be like, hey, this is what you can do for like birthday stuff. Do these things and that's it. I'm fine with nothing else. And I've had the realization with Stacy is that I can use the money to, first things first, take her out to dinner.
Yes.
Then I can use the money to do something which I really want to do. And I'm saying this now aloud, and it's very about me, but if they send me, if I get any more of it, which I think there's like one person to send more on the way, what I will end up doing is I'll start either A, looking at tattoos.
Ooh.
Or B, buying a slutty outfit.
Yes! Yes! Go for it. Okay, I think the crisis and confusion is all sorted now.
Huzzah. We'd love to see it.
Ah, there we go. 20 minutes in, I can actually start properly now. Hey,
Yeah.
since we're absolutely spamming the chat with all of my social stuff at the moment, did you guys know that I've uploaded? Not at this point now. There's been 2 new TikToks because I don't think we actually mentioned it last week.
No,
I
we did not.
uploaded a TikTok last week, and now this week I've uploaded another one. So you should go look. You should go watch them and like them and all that jazz because algorithms.
Yes.
And I'm gonna sit here and do sprites.
Yes. Yeah, as I scramble to my TikTok link so that I can link it in the chat. And the first thing I see is that fucking. I'm not a fan of it, but it's that thing that people post up of like, hey, so this is what like people watch where they'll like only look at things if there's something active on the screen at the same time. And then there's just like a AI voice over it talking about like, hey, here is like a story from Reddit kind of thing.
Oh, right, I get you.
That's the first time I watched that, I have to admit. In fairness, it only went live 4 minutes ago.
Yes, things happened. But then there was last week's as well.
Yes, last week's is also quite good.
They were essentially a series, is what they are.
Yes.
A series of trying to murder Kobold. He's like, nah.
Please, you're just a little goblin.
Don't know what that voice was.
The voice of a goblin.
Hey, Bobby. My model fell apart.
Oops, nope, that's not good.
Nish good. Instructions get okay. How the fuck? Fuck. I might have had this on the wrong way around.
Oopsie.
Also, folks, did you know, speaking of kobolds, that Blue has a cobalt avatar?
It's
currently
already
for
been
sale?
posted. It's already been posted.
Ah.
We're done. We're done memeing. We can have a conversation now.
Fair. So, Nimona.
Oh God, what a good film!
That was a fucking banger of a film.
That was so good, and frankly, it's a travesty that it took so long for that to be made.
Yeah.
Like,
fact
I'm
that it was-
so glad that Netflix picked it back up because, my God, it was good.
Netflix looked at something made by Stevenson and went, wait, we know you. You're money. Come here. We know She-Ra exists. Come here. But I was gonna ask as well, Blue. So yes, the film is a banger, but the
So go
fact
on
that
then,
Blue-
which character makes you think of your OC?
No, I'm not actually. That wasn't actually where I was going with that. I was gonna make a Blue
What?
Sky joke. I was gonna make a Blue Sky joke. considering there has been 3 elements of Blue Sky that are apparent this week. You,
Oh,
an
yeah.
entirely new social media source, and Blue Sky never died.
I haven't looked at the this new social media thing.
Neither have I. Neither have
Don't
I.
tell me there's another one.
Twitter's going down in like a goddamn trash fire. But mind you, everybody said that Twitter was going down like a goddamn trash fire 3 months ago, and it's still here, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't even got used to Facebook. I didn't even get used to MySpace.
Just making everyone in the chat who knew MySpace when it was young fucking feel old. So, yeah, firstly, I will say this about Namada. It is a fucking gorgeous, gorgeous film.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. I loved every moment of it. I already can tell that it's like going to be one of those films that I watch regularly, and probably like up there with like. Well, I just want to put something on, so like up there with like Ghibli films almost. Of like I don't even need to pay attention. I just need noise because I've watched this film so many times. I just know it.
And this film deserves more views. Ergo, baba da boo. Fully agree. Fully agree. It is it's again, as you said, it's a travesty that it took so long to make for it to succeed to be where it is. But like. The fact that it succeeded at all and got here is, a fucking delightful little story in and of itself. So, we can take that massive, dub with that of like, hell yeah, this film, which, for those who don't know, got axed when Blue Sky, the actual company behind it, got axed by Disney.
Yeah.
Ergo,
Disney said no.
The mouse wielded the axe and decided that, perish. Even though the film was 75% finished, which again, it feels like it's one of those things of, are you really being that cheap?
So
But
dumb.
We're here now, and the film got picked up by Netflix and is currently on Netflix streaming. And go watch it.
Yeah, it's great. Go watch it.
I mean this quite sincerely. I was very confused when I loaded up the film. Sat next to Frog. We're eating toffee. I'm having a bowl of ice cream because I just spent 7 hours in Tabletop Sim with Kay. And it was like, okay, let's watch this. And I was like, why futuristic? What the fuck? I thought this was medieval.
It's both.
Yeah, it's quite legitimately both in a very good way.
Yeah.
Truly didn't expect it to go that way, and then here we are with it, I will say there's some stuff in it I really like there's rarely an element where I felt like the characters weren't being intelligent, or like, oh, you're being dumb for the sake of the plot. It's like, no, none of the characters seem to be that way to their credit, which is great when you don't make characters. Hang on, what was that? It's a driftbloom.
It's a driftbloom.
Fuck it, I'll try.
I'm at the stage in the game where I'm trying to be more conservative with what I'm catching because I'm running out of Pokeballs.
Yeet.
I'm just like, ah.
Okay, I'm currently staring at this mini, waiting for some part of it to give so that I can push it back into place a bit more in case it starts to. Hello, Spooky Bookle. Hope you're well, my lad.
Vampire Survivors again and again. I look over at his screen and I'm like, what is happening?
It's a fun, to its credit, it's a fun Bulletstorm game. That's kind of what, like, the impression
Yeah, Spook's the one who's the storm.
Yeah.
I can't see shit on his screen. There's just stuff flying everywhere, but presumably he's winning. Are you winning, hun? Don't know. Yeah, don't know.
He is the storm that is approaching. Also, at the weekend, I got a treat of a thing that I was watching, of just because this drew it to me. Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom, because Virgil's in it. It's that song "Storm" is his one. That's where my ND brain just took the leap. So there's one YouTuber I watch. He basically posts like one video a month, and like it's absurdly high quality. He uses like source filmmaker and um a full body rig suit.
Oh,
to
that Badger
actually-
dude, right?
Russian Badger, yes. He was doing a stream of Marvel vs. Capcom, but it wasn't his stream, or it was, but it wasn't the one that I found. I found him on like Thero, the Irish Dragon Ball Z fighting game guy. He basically, with a few friends, does a bunch of funny voiceovers for things like fighting games, but he's also done like one of the things that he's quite notorious for is that he will, because he's not like say Russian Badger where he has like a full creative team, like his partner is an artist, but he will commission so many people to do a video. Like he commissioned so many artists.
Brilliant, yeah.
In source filmmaker, in 2D artwork, in all these kind of things. Like one of them, which I saw was a very nice story from his latest Marvel vs. Capcom video, was one of the artists posted up on Twitter, "Hey guys, go watch this video. My cat was very unwell. I posted about it a few bits back. He contacted me and said, 'Do you want to take money for this? Pay me back with the artwork for whatever video whenever you're available. Your cat's your priority. Here, take this.
Aww.
Go do it and cover me later.'"
Aww.
And you know what? I love him. I love him.
Yeah. Good
'Cause
guy.
he's a really funny guy. He's a really funny guy. And one of the first videos I ever saw of him was like, "Oh, by the way, our landlord kicked us out. And basically said, 'Out you get. We don't know why. We're always on time. We're not too loud. I don't play too late at night.'" And then Raid Shadow Legends was like, hey buddy, sponsor us in the next video and we'll make sure you can afford to get a fucking place." And I was like, okay, fair enough. Like, he takes the money for stuff like that and just immediately turns it around, gives it right back into the communities, and it's good. It's good shit. It's good shit. It's good
It's
shit.
a good
But
shit.
Russian Badger is one of those kind of guys where if he finds a mechanic that works in a game, watch out, he's gonna fucking milk it.
Oh yeah.
He's gonna fucking milk it in the best way. So he is this destructive little fucking gremlin that like Thero sat down and taught all these ways of like, here's what you can do for this, and here's what you can do for this, and here's a few basic combos. Like, do these few basic combos and you'll be fine. And he was sweeping people. He was sweeping people because it was like a round robin where, like, you know, the winner sits and then, like, in a lobby of 8, someone else gets shuffled in to play him. And eventually it came to Lythero, and Lythero was like, no, my pupil, you must not be put down. And he killed him in like 2 minutes, like, just not even like an effort. It's like,
Get dunked.
it's like, this is a reminder of which one of us is a professional fighting game player and who isn't. It was well good. But we sat down to watch the Mona, and again, like, okay, you were joking about which character you think associates with yours the most, and I kind of feel like Ambrosia, or Ambrosius.
Really?
Yeah, Blondie Boy. Not for the fact that he's the typical paladin, the fact of any of those things, the fact that he was there and all this. It's the fact of he gets like, you know, hey, how are you feeling? And he just does this massive tirade of exploding off of like however he feels, like, who cuts off someone's arm? That is not a love language.
Arm cutting is not a love language.
And then he just like stops and he's looking at the window going, no, it's fine. It's like, that.
Yeah.
That was the moment that sold it for me.
Basically, this is what he wants to say, but he doesn't.
He keeps his mouth shut, which is what they would love to do, but I am no. I will scream. I will scream at my own ass. Alright, what fucking gun do I use? I have no idea. Oh, I put one of the... Okay.
Hello, child. Here to complain again.
Of course she is. Why wouldn't she be?
Yeah, there is something that I would probably talk about Nimona, but because it's about literally the ending, I won't talk about it on stream because it's so new. It's like it's a spoiler, so everybody go watch it. So
I would say that's very fair. Yeah.
It's like,
we
I'm someone who generally doesn't give a rat's ass about spoilers these days. Honestly, I couldn't care less about most of them. It's like, in the days of the internet and everybody talking about everything, it's like you're gonna find things out. The only way you'll remain spoiler free is by just cutting yourself
not being
off.
there.
But
Yeah.
but when something is new, it's like, give it like a couple of weeks grace period if you can.
Yeah, I'm very much to that mantra of like anything that I've retweeted from that film has not been a spoiler based thing.
Yes.
Like I'm very because it has been used against me, but I am someone who really does not like things being spoiled for me. So I try to be very in that same way, I try to respect that nature of like I don't want to talk about it, despite the fact that I really want to talk about it. But I tell you one thing that film actually gave me a lot of energy of. Oh, hang on a sec. Let me finish gluing this pair of guns to this thing, and let me just fucking there for a second and dry. I have to look up a studio because it's a particular studio's art style that I'm thinking of. Cartoon Saloon. You might know the one. They did a wonderful animated series animated film called The Book of Kells.
Right.
And they did. If you have not watched that, by the way, do. Cartoon Saloon is a fantastic Irish-based studio. I enjoy anything they do. Like, they've got a few things currently on Netflix, like one of them, which I've just seen the trailer of, called My Father's Dragon, and congratulations, I'm immediately sold.
Yeah, with a name like that.
But they have The Wolf Walkers is one of their other ones. They
Wolf Walkers,
The
right.
Breadwinner, which is another wonderful film. I could not recommend anything by the... When I'm talking about these guys, I say this with nothing but utter respect for them, and they truly... This film legitimately gave me the same concept as The Book of Kells in how it felt, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I looked at this film and the way the animation is, because sometimes I find animation...
What spook?
She's been annoying.
Sadie.
Sadie.
This is the thing, is that I couldn't tell Sadie was wearing until I saw Spook post about it in the chat, because noise cancellation be a bitch.
Yeah, you don't get the wows. Chat does.
Wow. There, that's my wow.
Discord noise cancellation too good.
Yeah. 0 out of 10. Did not let me hear my friend's cat. Oh, by the way, like sometimes on like a really quiet Friday, I've actually like...
Yes.
I've had your streams on while I'm at work. Like on a very quiet Friday, like legitimately there isn't much going on. I just have it on while I'm doing some paperwork. And my friend who, one of the colleagues I have at work, who's a cat owner and a cat lover, I sometimes go, hang on, there are cats on. Do you want to hear the downed TIE Fighter? And she's like, go on, so I finally want to hear this. And she heard, meow. And she's like, that's not hyperbole. I thought you were joking. Jesus Christ, that is legitimately a downed TIE Fighter.
That's what she sounds like. It's so funny to me whenever I'm in VR with people that, with like strangers in like a public world, and Sadie will brush past my foot, and I'll be like, "Who wants to hear my cat like a down TIE Fighter?"
So, yes, to continue what I was saying though, the Book of Kells has such a rich style of animation that when I say that I think legitimately it's a phenomenal film, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I do think as well, like, this style of animation is the same in that way of, it feels like, how best to describe? It feels like the animation breathes in the actual world, like the art, the animation. It's not like, none of it feels disjointed. It belongs. It it's fluid. In that same way that if we watch something in real life, we would know that makes sense. Like we see something physical, like a lightning bolt happen. It's like that is nearly otherworldly to us, but it is in our real world. We can see it, we can visualize it. It is tangible. It is not something which is an effect. That's how this felt. Its animation felt like it belonged really solidly. And I find that something that might be quite hard for a lot of people to do in the modern day, and they fucking nailed it. And of course, with no hyperbole, Nimona is my favorite character in the film because I think Stacy was trying to, file up some adoption papers the moment she came on screen. Just absolute devil of a gremlin. This just mischievous little, honestly, woodland sprite in a way. And it's like, oh, you are so fucking cute. You're an adorable little shit, aren't you? And just immediately you are sold hook, line, and sinker on this kid. Just no hyperbole. Just, yep, absolutely. That is now my daughter, basically. And I find that's very hard to do nowadays without making the character insufferable.
Yeah, they push too hard.
Yes.
Try to make it like you will like this character, and it's like, well, now I don't because you're making me.
Because you're shoving it in my face, I now don't want to. Whereas when they're done right, you're just like, oh, there was never a choice in this matter. That is now my daughter. Which, credit to, when done right, it's immediately, it's investment guaranteed. And like everything about her energy, her, swear to God, her fucking, I don't know how Andy does it so well, but it's just that fucking mischievous little fucking. You know who's a really good analogy for this? The last time I felt like a character truly belonged and deserved that grade of just absolute gremlin energy. Stitch. From That's the last time I've seen a character who legitimately deserves to be that much of a fucking menace. It's like, like I fully could expect her going, Gabby. And like, yeah, no, that's she's saying Gabby. What are you gonna do about it? Speaking of everyone's favorite Blue Little Devil, for some reason, Death Battle put him versus Rocket Raccoon in a who would win in a fight, Stitch or Rocket Raccoon.
I mean, and space engineered little gremlins. I can see the comparison.
Yeah, furry little destructive bastards from space. Unfortunately for Rocket, he got eaten alive. Like, well, not actually eaten alive, but ripped apart, basically. Got absolutely fucking torn. It's like, I'm gonna use all these amazing guns and light you up, and Stitch's going, every time he gets fucking hit, he just swears at him in a language, and he's just like, what the fuck did you say about my mother? Why the fuck did you say that, man? What the hell? Like, he's legitimately, like, just going, the fucking mouth on this kid. Stitch is just there, like...
Yeah, I remember back, when, because, like, it was definitely, like, that age range when Stitch came out. I would go onto, like, the Disney website and stuff, and they'd play, like, the Flash games, and they did somewhat try to make a bit of an index on, like, what he would say, of, like, what, like, the words that he said were actually a language. And it was, I think, the rough translation in the bit when he's in the tube, and they're like, can you show us if there's anything in you that's really good? And he says that thing that makes everybody go, it's literally, because it's a kid's film, it couldn't actually be a swear word, but it roughly translates to, literally, I like causing problems on purpose.
A lot of problems on purpose.
That was legit in the little, when he's in the little test tube. Apparently, roughly, that is what he says.
Probably after also having an age filter put on it.
Yeah.
Also, for some reason, Death Battle is putting Vader against another anime character. Stop it.
That is, we're running out of ideas.
Yes. Actually, I take that back. His last opponent was Doctor Doom. And Dr. Doom currently has like a 2-0 record on that thing, so like he's never lost. And he fought Luther and Vader. Happy America Day, everybody. Happy day you told the English to go fuck themselves.
Oh, I'm sorry, but me and Spook were laughing so hard this morning when Spook opened up his phone and the first thing he saw was a meme about someone sat there, like, with a sparkler and a party hat looking absolutely fucking miserable, and it was just there saying, me celebrating Freedom Day, missing out on the free healthcare. And I was like, ah!
Missing out on the free part. But shout out to my fucking, to the Yanks I know. You bastards are feeling the cheap. You know, one thing I really do appreciate about Nimona is there's like, you probably know which scene I'm referring to, where, oh hi Den.
Hi!
How is the Den?
Where have you been? Honestly, it's been forever. It's totally been like an hour. Like, what the fuck?
Okay, Blue, I need to like make a contract with you, okay?
What?
I need you to sign on this piece of paper that you will never
No,
do that
I
Valley Girl
refuse.
voice ever again.
I refuse.
You know the worst part is Den put that's too long. All my head did was, it's been so long since the last
wow.
I seen my son lost to this monster.
Yeah, we maybe look. We're peak ADHD freaking pinballing across topics at the moment. Have you seen the pictures of the FNAF movie animatronics?
They're legitimately gorgeous.
They're so good. I mean, it's Jim Henson, so obviously they were going to be good. But like seeing the pictures of them, it's like, fucking hell, you nailed it. You got it so good.
Did you see the actual Springtrap design?
I haven't seen the Springtrap. I saw the Freddy. I saw pictures this morning of the Freddy.
Freddy looks amazing.
It looks legit. It is legitimately, like, it's no hyperbole. It's legitimately just, you made it real. Like, that is, you could not be any more accurate if you tried. It's like, that is it. That is legitimately what it would look like. That is 100% it. It's like, we've just sat here just like, oh, yes, we're in the era of the good game movies.
Yes, we legitimately are. And there is a whole thing about this is the last thing Scott's gonna have any fucking creative control over with anything FNAF-wise, and I'm like, you know what? Fair.
I love the FNAF series. It's probably run its course. You know, we're on like what?
It has.
We're like on what, game 8? There's like, 15 books and a movie. It's like, I think it's run its course, but obviously because we live in the age of capitalism, it's gonna get built continually. It will go until it dies. They'll never just be like, that's a good place to end. It'll be like, nope, time to beat this dead horse.
Until you map them, because it always comes back.
Yeah. Time to beat this dead horse animatronic.
I think that joke got made about FNAF back in FNAF 4, and there's been about 6 games since. I'm currently going through the trailer trying to actually spot the frame, because there is a very good frame of a certain animatronic.
People who are FNAF fans, favourite animatronic, go, because there's a fucking lot of them now.
Okay, so I'm going to send this to you, Blue, but they've deliberately made this quite blurry.
Oh, yeah.
To the point where, like, I'm kind of convinced it's not going to come across very well on a... Like, you can tell it's made deliberately because the eyes are actually perfect.
Oh, I see, right.
Actually,
Yeah, it's good
Justice
though.
League There's a much better one here. Just a second. Oh, it's literally like I have to play this back. I have to play this at such a slow speed in order to catch this
Frame
image
by
again.
frame, right? Yeah.
Okay, one sec. Also, this is absolutely him in the suit. One sec. Like, look at that. That is a suit. That is a suit.
They are suits, yeah. Have you not seen the pictures of the people wearing them? They are suits.
No, I know, but that is deliberately meant to be a suit for a person. Like as in that's what it's designed to look like, where the other animatronics are meant to look like animatronics. This is like, that is a suit done perfectly.
Yeah.
And I'm just in love with it. Like, it legitimately looks fucking good. When it comes to myself, because we were talking about them, I actually think my favorite, and there's definitely been like some FNAF content that's outside of like canon that has influenced this, but
Yeah.
it's, if not for the stuff outside the canon, it's the puppet, because
Okay.
the puppet, the marionette is really nice. If not, Golden Freddy.
Fair enough. I understand why. For me, I would probably go with Foxy.
Yeah, I was gonna say Foxy.
It's Foxy. I've got a Foxy
It-
plushie.
it-
It's
yeah.
Foxy.
Yeah.
Didn't even intentionally order that Foxy plushie or anything. That was legitimately. I was at university. This is one of those things where it's like, one of the reasons plushies are so special to me is because a lot of them get tied to memories. So the Foxy plushie was legitimately, I'm having a bad day at university. I'm on my own because I moved out from home. Spook comes down to visit me because I'm feeling miserable, and he comes and scoops me off the bed and he's like, let's go into town, we'll go get some food, and we'll go to Forbidden Planet and like have a nice afternoon. And we go into Forbidden Planet and this little Foxy plushie is just sat in the corner, and I'm just staring at it, just like, I've never seen, this is the first time I'd seen any FNAF merch IRL, and he just grabs it and plonks it on me and he's like, there you go. And I was just hugging it for literally the entire day.
Wow, Blue, he sounds like a really nice guy. You should marry him or something.
He should marry me.
I think he's working on that.
We're both working on it. We're working on the house first.
Yes, very fair. I love the puppet because the puppet was always an animatronic that felt like it didn't belong, but not in the way of it didn't suit where it was, in that way of the Uncanny Valley of that's not like the others, you know?
Yeah.
And aside from Golden Freddy, it's the only one that was truly supernatural to begin with. Like, the other ones, obviously, they were all fucking,
Also, yeah, obviously.
all supernatural, but this is the only one that was like, no, it's watching you, that is...
Foxy! I thought he'd been Pax! Oh, see, now I've gone all mushy because I'm like, oh, he's brought me my Foxy again.
Spook was like,
I love you.
would you like another dose of serotonin? There you go.
Just magically produces an Arcanine.
We have Arcanine at home, hands you Foxy plushie.
Yeah, Foxy's like the size of my chest, so like he's good for cuddling. Hang on, let's
I don't have enough points for
I think it's
you to be
this
healthy
one
with an Arcanine
specifically.
either.
I think it's this one specifically, but like it's big. Like some of these are quite little because they're like plushies, but mine's like a big one.
A big one.
A big one. Can't really find an example of one that's like a big sized one, but yeah.
So, yeah, I would say that it's like, you know, it's one of those two because, again, the puppet's also the one that's got a really cool backstory to it because of it. It was potentially the first victim, whereas of the original animatronics, Chica was the first one killed.
I was the first. I have seen everything.
Everything. That's kind of like how a lot of people are like interpreting it. Is that Chica was the first?
You still
First
have that photo? Oh my god, Spook, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die! You have that saved? Oh my god.
Of course he has that saved.
I'm gonna send this to you, Des, mainly because I'm like, one, my hair is really short, and two, you can tell that I was a lot younger because, oh my god, I've got acne. Baby face.
I love how if you link this to me right now, it's gonna look like Afton is staring to come and get you.
It's fine because Foxy's protecting me, but yeah, it's big.
I'm pretty sure that there's an entire segment in one of the second FNAF game where Foxy does not protect the kids. But yes, yeah, he is a big chunky boy.
He's large. Hang on, if I, okay, let me just...
He's a big old boy.
Me being like, how can I show this to the stream without showing my face because I'm embarrassed at how I'm like a baby face with teenage acne, even though I'm in my 20s and I had to go to a doctor to get it sorted.
No.
But you can see, there you go, you can roughly
did.
see. You can roughly see how massive it is. He's big!
Oh.
Early birthday present.
I like that way.
And I sweetie, love you.
Love you, Spook.
You realise that I'm gonna be cuddling Foxy in the bed now. You've triggered the latest rotation. The rotation's come through again now.
We'll take you out the window.
Person with a face, heresy. It's not my face. It's the I've shown my face on the channel hundreds of times. It's the fact that I've got like acne and the really just. Remember, I was feeling bad. The whole reason I ended up with this is that it was before my birthday and I was feeling bad, so Spook came and cheered me up. So yeah, I think the lore is that the puppet, the spirit that's in the puppet wasn't murdered, but they did like die around the Pizzaplex, I think.
No,
I don't really remember.
Emily. Okay, so she was So her one was, she was the aide of Williams, like the guy who was alongside William, the guy who caused the fire in FNAF 6. It was his kid. It was his kid that got killed outside, and the puppet animatronic was meant to specifically track her and keep her safe, but it got like blocked up with boxes and things, so it couldn't get to her before she was killed. So it goes outside and like hovers over her body to try and protect her, and as does so, soul transfers, that kind of thing.
Yes.
So it's often believed that William did this one out of grief and jealousy of Henry, who was his associate and way fucking better at it than he was, and he fucking hated it because,
yes,
well, you may as well make your villain a few other fucking issues if you're gonna be a terrible person. Why not add a few more?
And Atlin has appeared.
Yes, I'm actually gonna try and catch that.
Problem is the lore around the puppet has apparently been retconned. Yeah, there's a lot of the thing about a lot of FNAF lore has been retconned and changed and tweaked because obviously, the franchise got, a bit too big for its boots kind of thing, and that's where it's like, there's a lot of lore contained in the books where like people were starting and being like, oh, the books aren't canon, and then like they did a 180 and they were like, the books explain everything, the books are so important, you have to read the books, and it's like, oh god. Video game lore should be contained within the games.
Correct, but in fairness to this, it is. This is gonna sound a bit confusing, but one thing that the games were always told as being was, hey, poggers. The games were always told as being was, this is not AU. This is not, or no, pardon me, this is not canon. This is a parallel AU. As in, what happens here reflects or is some way mimicked in the other one, which is why a lot of people ran around with the newest books coming out and using them to explain things in sister location. Like there's a whole nonsense about an AI robot and that kind of thing. And it's like, well, okay, yada yada yada, so on, so on, so on. But to my understanding, because the thing they did was they're like, oh yeah, the games were made to cover up for William's murders. But
Yeah, that was one of the funniest things I think the franchise ever pulled, which was making
Yes.
the first 3 games canon games in the universe. Like, what a fucking move.
and to say it as well, like a really clever one, because it's like, firstly, from what we understand about Fazbear Entertainment, they're fucking scumbags. They would try that, and in addition, it's like, oh, this not only kind of pseudo lines up with things that are presented and said about, but also like nearly makes sense for like they're trying to milk it. Of course they are. They're apparently, we all know the kind of people these will be. They're fucking scumbags. They're just trying to milk it and make a little bit more dosh. But the premise is that the puppet was a kill of anger. And of course, then it got up and was starting to watch him during the day, and during the night it was getting aggro, and he was like, hold the fuck on. That thing is definitely not normal anymore. Something's happened with it. What happens if I kill more kids? And tried to do things with them. The puppet brings him back to life. He gets spring locked, and so on.
The rest is history.
Yes, and I'm not gonna lie, I doubt they're going to keep the story from the games in the film, and I'm actually all for that.
No, I can't imagine they will.
Because I don't care what anyone else says, give Shaggy as much creative freedom as possible, please.
Yes.
Like Zoid's cool about the man behind the slaughter!
Hi, boss!
Reggie, it's a writer, Reggie Reverend. Raggy, look out! It's the writer, Reggie Reverend. I'm gonna be that person for the rest of the night. I apologize to everyone in advance. Anyway, back to a film.
Vocal stims.
Yes. Stacy has once attempted to smother me because I kept doing Crash Bandicoots. She's just turned around to me. If I avoid eye contact, I'll be safe. Avoid. No, don't get up. Honey, hi. Honey, I love you. Hi.
Spook almost threw an entire bag of shopping at me because I had to do work, so he went and did the shopping, and he came back, and he stuck his head and he was like, I got you some lemon cake because you like it, and I literally turned and looked at him and went, lemon, and he just nearly threw the bag at me because that's always just my vocal stim. Lemon!
Lemon.
Lemon! Squad's got ADHD!
Sorry, while you were talking, I was being chokeholded by a frog.
Lemon!
Lemon.
Lemon! And he was even like, I knew you were gonna make that noise, and I was like, well, if you knew I was gonna make it, why did you get so upset?
Unfortunately, you guys cannot hear, but there's a very high-pitched frog behind me. She also likes that vocal stim.
God, now I'm gonna have to try to find that video so I can show people. Be like, this is where the lemon comes from.
Lemon.
Yep, that's the one.
The problem is that all of our noise cancellation is so good that that high pitch gets ignored.
Stream can probably hear it. Because the noise cancellation is in Discord, not on the microphone.
True.
I know those were supposed to be words, but I couldn't pass them.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this blue pot because I have 5 models glued up, and what I'll do is I'll give them all a prime spray, and then I'll stick the heads on tomorrow or the day after because I want to take them in on Friday to play a game with. And I only just want to bring the 5, so I'm not going to actually work on the others, and I'll put these to the side for now. I did get the opportunity to play against Kay on Sunday,
Ah, yes.
and so the army that Kay is playing is basically like, what's a good analogy? Anti-demon SWAT for Space Marines. In that way of demons show up, okay. No, but what's good? Okay, orcs show up. Innumerable amounts of orcs. Okay, send the Space Marines. Demons showed up. All right, send the Grey. And woe betide to everyone who is even remotely nearby them, because if you're a Space Marine, your mind will be blanked. And if you're a standard person, you've been affected by the warp by just having those guys near you, so unfortunately
Spicy.
unfortunately you were not about to be reducted. Which, it's hilarious because this was something that the Emperor realized later. He was like, actually, we really need to make sure that nobody knows about Chaos so that it can't influence them. Problem is, no one knew about Chaos so it could influence them. And every time demons show up, anyone who gets involved with it gets culled if they're not like Inquisitors who conveniently manage to not get murdered because they have bureaucracy bullshit powers, and Grey Knights who have literally never been corrupted by demons. There's been 10,000 years of it, and either Grey Knights have never been corrupted, or every time a Grey Knight has been corrupted, he has been swiftly killed. And it's like, nope, no proof. Which, knowing the 40k universe, is probably the closer of the two. But Kay's army is notorious now in 10th edition for teleport shenanigans. Essentially, in what's a good way to describe this? In Warhammer, teleportation or any kind of like even using like faster than light travel, essentially you were going through the warp. As it's described, you were going through Satan's back door.
Why are you throwing stuff at me?
The Grey Knights treat that as a no, you don't get it. This is like bear country that we're walking through right now. Like, yeah, the standard person is most likely going to get mauled by the bear. We're professional bear hunters that the bears know, and they are terrified of us. Hey, Chaotix. So essentially, every time I was like, okay, I've got this unit that I can shoot, or I can set up and take on.
Thank you for the save reminder.
Oh yeah, that's good shot. Every time there was an opportunity for me to take out one of his units or open fire, a lot of his guys were like, oh, you're so close to me, I'm going to teleport away now. And I'm like, stay the fuck still and let me hit you. I got a single secondary objective that really mattered. The final score was 53 to 46 or 44, I think. Whichever way it worked out. Actually, 46 I think it was. Because the final score was that. But that secondary I got gave me 8 points, which was literally the difference between me winning and losing, because he would have gotten 46 to my 45. It was a really, really close game. It came down to quite literally the final unit I had taking a final shot. It was really satisfying. Really, really fun to play against. And I'm sure that me and Kay are going to play a lot more in the future. Especially if he gets used to playing with his bugs more, or if he gets used to playing more of the Grey Knights. Which, if he does, oh god, I have to deal with them. But there was one of the units that I have in here called what's referred to as a Ballistus Dreadnought. what a ballistic dreadnought is that it's one of those little, you know, it's the dreadnoughts. They look like they look like a little box.
Yeah.
That's what they are. That's their whole game. It's one that's primarily designed to stay at range and blink at people. Like, all it's to hit rolls, it gets to re-roll them if the target they're aiming at is above half strength. So if something is not fully wounded yet, they get to shoot it better, which given their guns have their higher strength stuff is low ammo, so it's like less likely to actually shoot a lot of shots that guarantee a hit. You're more likely to generate those on things that haven't been wounded yet. And it's a tough little cookie. It took a lot of fire that game before it went down, and I was actually quite chuffed with it. I was like, oh, it's a good little guy. It fucking gave it a little head pat.
Nice.
It was great. But the problem is that I've called the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought Levy. I've called the Brutalis Dreadnought Bruti. This is a Ballistus. I don't want to call it Bali.
Listy.
Listy. That works.
It's also a Red Dwarf reference, so thumbs up.
Sorry, hon, what was that? Then it would mean
Hi,
why.
who mentioned Warhammer? Listy of Smeg, see? Caller knows. It's Listy.
It was myself who did mention Warhammer Den. Why? Did it awaken your partner? Posture check. Oh, so much is fucking popped. Now then.
Made sweet and sour chicken for dinner and it was awful. Oh no! I'm sure your cooking's lovely.
Did something go wrong with it? Yes, I opened back up Roll20 because I'm going to be working again on stuff in Pop, and it's one of these things
yes.
of, let's see, the cricket top. Can I get the
That's not, no, that's a Cricketoon. Cricketoon is the da-la-la-la-la, whoop!
Oh, HelloFresh. HelloFresh is meant to be hit and miss, from what I understand.
Never had HelloFresh, so I can't comment.
Oh my god. Okay, they've updated the URL. I need to... Okay, no, I know Curls is busy, but I will message her and let her know that there is now a new layout for... No, she'll get this at another point. She'll see this at another point.
We'll all say, yeah. That's the fun thing. We haven't played D&D in 8 months. Roll20's been releasing some updates.
Yeah. Token layer. There's now a GM layer. There's now a lighting layer. And a map layer. I am all for that. Oh, I logged in and it's like, what was the last screen that you were all on? Cloth's lair.
Oh, right. Spicy. Yep, that was a thing we did.
Everyone except Glory running around and getting fucking melted like, why is it spicy?
Me on the other side of the map. Do not interact.
Yeet.
Turfs do not interact.
Yeet. Okay. Cloth is a tyrant, a mass-murdering lunatic, and a domineering brute Don't you dare insult him like that and call him a turf.
What's he gonna do? Die again?
I mean, fucking he might for a third time.
That's fair.
Also, one thing that came out last week was the data index cards. Like, these are physical cards. And the Space Marine one is bigger than the two.
Warhammer. Sorry, we were talking about D&D.
Yes,
Again, the ADHD ping pong of just like we were talking about Warhammer, then we went back to D&D. Now we're back to Warhammer again for no apparent reason.
Sorry, because the screen that I have Roll20 on, my index cards are directly in front of. So the index cards for the Space Marines is bigger than the two that Stacy has for her two different factions combined. Because again, poster boys, they make money. They keep the lights on with GW, so they're gonna fucking milk it. It's really useful because you can just bring the cards with you, and of course you don't need to bring them all. Like, I might bring 8 or 10 or so.
Yeah, they basically discovered what 5e discovered of like, oh shit, I don't need to bring the monster manual. I can just bring these flashcards that have Goblin, Hobgoblin, and Bugbear on it, and then I'm good.
Yes.
Yes, you need to start streaming Warhammer.
I mean, I have
she's not
been
wrong.
quite tempted. I have been quite tempted to stream Chaos Key Demon Hunters. It's basically an XCOM style game where you play as the Grey Knights.
Well, there you go then.
And had I started playing that game before I picked the Salamanders, I absolutely would be playing Grey Knights. So the thing about that game as well that's quite funny is that there is the classic meme of XCOM 90% chance to hit.
They tried to introduce flat cards in 4th edition, can't say I was too thrilled with it. See, when they introduced the 5th edition cards, me and Spook went absolutely feral for them. Seti Heta, hello! Thank you for the raid! How are you doing? Welcome on in. It's lovely to see you.
Everyone say a woo to greet these people in the chat. A woo.
Thank you. Just good to see you again.
Okay, Daz, but if you somehow manage to achieve any contact with Henry Cavill, bitch, if I have any contact with Henry Cavill, you are getting pictures of the bed, that's it. Best of luck. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
You can't say that when people have just raided into us.
It's Henry Cavill. I know Galaxia is here at least. Like, what? Hello, welcome to Blues Chat. I'm not here all the time. I'm a whore.
It's
Hello.
not always like this, I swear.
I mean, in fairness, it's Henry Cavill.
I mean, yeah.
Henry Cavill.
Can we get?
Yes, absolutely.
God damn it! I'm losing control of it. You won't be invited back. I'll get Den to join me on Tuesdays.
You think she's not gonna be horny for Henry Cavill?
God damn it!
I'll keep it a buck.
You're all degenerates.
Spray bottle for the dragon.
No. Don't get a spray bottle, honey. I'm fine.
Too ace for this bullshit.
It's Henry though. Henry gets a W, but I wish he liked other Warhammer armies. Yeah, fair setting. Essentially, Blue.
We here being like, yeah, they smexy. But what do they play in Warhammer?
They play essentially Blue. The Praetorian Guard for the Emperor is the easiest example. They're essentially an army that might have 20 models in the whole like 1,000-point army, and every single one of those models can body like 50 standard guys. They're absolutely fucking monsters.
Jacked.
Yes. So those guys I mentioned before, who are like the SWAT team of like of Space Marines, there was a narrative piece where one custodian, so they're called the Adeptus Custodians, and an entire squad of Grey Knights were running towards an objective. It took an entire squad of demon hunters who can teleport to keep up with one custodian who was just running. Physically running and cutting through people like it was nothing. Like, they're built different, and that's no hyperbole.
Built different.
So, it's very boring to play against them because you're essentially playing against the most elite army in the entire game.
Ah, right. So yeah, how's it going?
He could play rats with banjos and I couldn't care less.
Ding 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 ding. Skywolf
Yes.
memes. Hot spicy memes.
Yes, delivered straight to your guys.
Oh, the baby.
Oh, you can BB.
Oh, the baby.
And if you want to watch all of Blue's memes, including
Oh,
her
God,
new
here it
reaction
comes.
meme of a very sad Gabo, why don't you,
You
go
guys
over
are
to
so
Discord?
sweet. You promote my content more than I do because I'm like, no, I don't want.
What do you
I
want?
don't want to shove it down people's throats too much. I worry I do too much for it. You guys are like consume content.
Yes. Jesse Cox said it best. Advertise
No.
like shameless doors. You know what other word I meant, but
Yes,
I
I
said
did.
door. Goodness, my entire train. But no, Dan, I do mean that it would be quite fun to stream some of the Chaos Gate Demon Hunters. But what I was going for was XCOM has the meme of you have a 99% chance to hit and you will miss. That's actually like a technical editing or like coding error where you have so much odds to hit, it goes back to 0.
Like,
that's
so
how
this
it's
is
meant
like
to
the
work.
whole freaking civilization.
Yes, Gandhi is a
Gandhi
war
having the
criminal.
most aggro because they set their aggro to 0, but then like it circles back around.
It's
puts
so
it back up to
negative,
max.
he's super aggro, yes.
Yeah.
How much odds for... Look, I'm gonna keep it a buck. If I ever get the opportunity, you'll know, okay? You'll know. But, like, let's be quite real. If I ever get the opportunity to play with Cavill, it'll literally just be like a... None of you will know, and you're all just gonna get handed signatures when I'm done. Like, you're all just getting fucking things. But,
All I can think of is when we were at CoxCon and I introduced you to Terran Gregory.
yes, I did die. I did die in Ascend.
It was
I did die in
very
Ascend.
sweet. It was very sweet. I was off around the other side of the bar, just being social and chatting to people. Didn't even know who I was talking to, just having a chat with this guy. And then eventually he's like, yeah, because, when I'm working for Blizzard and stuff. And I was like, oh, wait, you work for Blizzard? And he's like, yeah. I was like, I got someone who would like to meet you. Would you be willing to come with me? And they were like, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, this way. And I lead them round the side of the bar, and before I can even call that, I just like wave and then point behind me, and it's just jaw drops. And that was when I was like, okay, you two have fun.
See, the problem is, Blue, is what you weren't aware of is I just finished We Like to Drink with Daz, because Daz
Yes.
is our mate. I literally just downed a bottle. And I was like, So, needless to say, I kind of exploded inside a little bit. It was great.
I mean, it was the bar at CoxCon. The alcohol was flowing for everybody.
Yes, it was
Except
wonderful.
me.
Yes. If you enjoyed it, it was wonderful. And if you didn't drink, someone else drank the drink that was bought for you.
Yeah. This is the thing. Like I don't. This is the thing with me. I don't need alcohol to have a good time. I ride the adrenaline high of just being in a high energy environment with my friends.
Absolutely. Fully agree with you on that one. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that that's more fun as well for some things. There is an appeal for the other stuff, but we won't get into much into that. But yes, it's very much so like that, where it's like, but the game that I'm referring to, you're playing as some of the most elite space marines that exist. So it's not a case of you miss, it's a case of does the opponent have enough cover to dodge your bullets? If not, you just fucking hit them. And that's legitimately a thing where like your damage gets greatly reduced if they're in half or full cover kind of thing, until you just like fuck a grenade at something and it's like, oh, all your cover is gone. Guess I'm blowing you up.
Winning.
Yeah. It's also like quite a fun game because so essentially as the game progresses, they're called the psycho abilities. Okay? They're essentially
We're temporarily outside.
so their abilities are called psycho effects. Now, Grey Knights are such good psychers that they don't mess with the warp whenever they use it. Like, it's deliberately a thing of they're so good at it, they don't like fuck with the warp. Either it doesn't damage the warp, doesn't like interfere with it, or straight up the warp is too afraid to fuck with them. Because demons are like, oh yeah, we get to go out and try to fuck with a mortal, and they look out and see a Grey Knight and go, let's close the door. No, let's close the door. Considering that a Grey Knight just being around something is enough to cause like a dot of like, turn undead for paladins, Blue.
Oh right.
It's like they have that perpetually on, and if you're a low enough DC, it's destroy undead as well. Like it will just banish entirely weaker ones, and it will weaken or debilitate powerful ones. But when you use abilities in this game, there's a meter at the top of the thing, which is just like in a semicircle of 100. And the more you use it, the more that builds up. The more corrupted the planet is, i.e. you haven't been back to that planet in particular in a while, its corruption has increased through infestation from Nurgle. There's more corruption, the warp gets more fluctuated, and every time that reaches 100, an effect occurs. For example, it can be like okay, you're setting up for next turn, you're in combat, you're setting up for your next turn with your like spellcaster, like your true spellcaster for them, which is called the Librarian, to teleport all your guys over to the primary objective and destroy it. Boom, it hits 100. Teleportation is not allowed for five turns.
Oops.
Adapt, motherfucker. Or, oh god, all my guys got really badly hurt. Don't worry, I can use the apothecary to get junk. You cannot heal for 5 turns. Or this, and I feel like there's a bit of a, in the way Left 4 Dead had that bit of a director behind it to like really make it a challenge. I feel like there's a bit of those where it's like, oh, this is going to give one of your knights the hobbled effect, so they're moving at half speed. We'll give this to one of the knights who needs to be running around the most. It gives a really good challenge to it. It's a lot of fun. Unlike XCOM, you can't expand the amount of guys you bring. You only bring 4 guys down every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's really fun and challenging, and there's a new credit to them. They've been giving out a lot of free DLC. And like sometimes it's like, hey, we've just spent so much time building on this new model. Here's a new model that will be one of the new antagonists in the game that you can encounter. Like one of them is a Lord of Pestilence, basically. He's a really fucked up Death Guard, which is their Nurgle style, so they're undead, like pseudo-undead, diseasey, really, really, really tough. But he buffs the plague effects that can hit your guys really hard. He just like amps up all of the damage. So you're like, oh, he has to die, or I have to avoid all the dots. Both of which are strategies you can deploy, which is easier for you, you know? Now they've added in what are called War Dog Titans. So the War Dog Titan is the smallest variant of a Titan. It's still taller than any Dreadnought. It's still like 20-odd foot minimum. And they're really hard to fight. Thankfully, they're... Ooh! Quickly, guys, get the God Killer. Now, try to catch it. If you have not yet, do exclamation point, poke, start.
Oh yeah, guys! If anybody from the Raiders fancies playing, we've got a Pokemon game that you can play in the chat. If you do exclamation mark poker start, you can get a starter Pokemon.
Yes, and
that's a thing you can do.
Yes.
And me and Des can get jealous over people's starters.
Yes, very much so. So, they get these cool variant monsters and these cool like new challenges that they keep introducing, which is fun. I do like it. I have professed before that I realized way too late after playing that game that I was like, huh, why is Shistola dressed up as this Inquisitor from the game? And why is this Inquisitor from the game dressed up as Shistola? Then I listened to her voice again and went, god damn, I say voice actors. It's a very enjoyable game. I've managed to some of these I just wanted to do and just get done, shall we say, but a lot of the achievements in there's a bit of a bragging right to some of them, because some of them aren't truly like difficult challenge to pull off. Like the one that I achieved most recently only
less than 2% of the players have gotten it, which is complete the campaign within 500 days. Given that you start with like 20 of your 20, 30, basically you lose 40 days, so you kind of have to do it in 40 or 460 days. It's a mighty challenge. And there's some that's like Grandmaster mode, which is you have no reloads at all. You can only win the game by playing it through without ever reloading a mission as a challenge.
Right.
It's some of those are like really, really difficult. Then there's some that are like Brother in Arms, win a mission with only 2 knights on the board, which means you have 2 characters you're using in this mission. Again, to their credit, a lot of these achievements, you actually don't have to do them on a hard difficulty. So it's not like, oh, do this whilst also doing it in, hey, I got a god killer, Pog. Whilst also doing them on the hardest difficulties. You don't have to do them both, which I like. I think that's quite nice. Efficient killer, win a mission without using any ammo, which means you're not shooting at all, you're just killing everything. Then there's things like kill with servitors, like, so the tech marines, which are like the guys who fix the mechs and the guys who treat with all the weapons of the chapter. The tech marines, for them, they also have these guys called servitors, which is the most grimdark thing possible, because they can't have turrets. AI is not allowed, because the last time they did that, it basically caused the Dark Ages, so you're not allowed to have them. What you have instead is lobotomized people turned into robots.
Nice.
Sometimes they're pseudo-ethically created, i.e., which I know, hilarious to say, how do you pseudo-ethically do that? Well, that grow them, or you just like get the most abhorrent criminals who are going to be on death row. May as well use them. In this setting, that is, you know, that's not one of the worst things that happens in it. Again, one of those things.
Grimdark.
Again, as grimdark as people declare it to be, the most important thing about this setting is the authors do not take it seriously. Like, in the most recent thing, it's like, oh shit, the Tyranids, who have only been they're the space bugs, who have only been arriving from the eastern side of the galaxy, now showed up on the west side, which gives horror to the theory that, oh dear God, we're actually surrounded on all sides of the galaxy, which, you know, incredibly grimdark, incredibly, well, we're fucked kind of thing. The sort of situation where it may legitimately make any faction that's pseudo-neutral or pseudo-good aligned, when I say that I mean loyal to the Imperium or willing to work with them, actually get together and cooperate. Potentially. But to give you an idea of the satire of it, there was one planet that was on the way, because one of the leaders from Earth, because there's a bunch of them, but one of them actually goes out and fights, even though he's just a guy. He actually goes out and tries to lead people, and is one of those ones where he's meant to be, you're meant to like this one, because he actually gives a shit about people. Like, he was draining himself and getting, like, to the point of sleep deprived by trying to keep the morale of his people up, constantly while they're being sieged by these bugs. But there was one planet, Apex Twins. There's a few things like that which are like, they're in books, but they don't get explored with outside of other books because they're the authors won't touch them. It's like, no, that's the creation of this author. I'm not touching that kind of thing, unless they get like full permission from GW and the others. But there was a planet that the Tyranids were invading, and this guy who was like, okay, we need everyone to work together, get ready, you're just gonna do your best to hold out and get as many civilians out as possible, get them to Terra, get them all like as protected as possible, Terra being Earth. There was an entire planet which had a civil war called the Civil War of the Closed Eyes, because there was an entire group of fanatics who believed, no, this is heresy. The Emperor would not let these bugs come here. This is a lie and a ruse. Stop looking at them. And we're fighting people who were trying to fight the Nids who were approaching, because they're like, can't be real. Those wouldn't be real. The Emperor wouldn't let this happen to us. Meanwhile, the bugs are just like, shit, free food.
Num 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 num.
Yeah. And like, that's an example. It's incredibly
One of my
stupid.
favourite goofy bits of 4K lore is that there are, in the canon, 2 very powerful heretical psychers called the Apex Twins.
I may be looking them up because I'm actually. Oh, they're from the Inquisition background books. That's the thing is like in the newest one where they're like, oh god, the worlds are in the Empire is in true like danger, like oh god, what are we gonna do kind of territory, and there's people going, no, I'm going to shoot you because bugs can't be doing this to us because that's not real. This is heresy. It's like this is their own product as things are getting the most serious they've been in a while in the narrative, and they're still willing to rip the piss. God bless them. So yes, Grimdark exists, but there are also plenty of satire. Oh fuck it, I'm gonna play some fucking Chaos Gate Demon Hunter now.
How dare you play a video game on Artstream?
I have put my minis together, leave me alone. And I was doing stuff in Pop, and then now I don't want to play this. This is an entirely silly thing, but you might get a giggle out of it, Blue. I threw up a list that I had made on one of the servers that I'm playing on to be like, hi guys, can I get any opinions on this? And the legitimate opinions I received from a lot of people were just, and I mean this with no hyperbole, just get this one model to lead these guys and you're fine. But the one model they were basically telling me to bring was a guy who is called the Judiciar. More or less, he's kind of like a pseudo executioner, meant to be a very quiet type kind of thing. But he leads a unit and he gives them the profile of what's referred to as fight first. What fight first means is that no matter what happens, these units get to act before anyone else does. That's meant to be the thing of it. So the entire premise of what's this optimal unit you're suggesting me do or pick up and play is literally just a guy going, me first, me first. Like, tell me that's not hilarious in some ways. I find it.
That is pretty funny.
I find that to be fucking delightful myself.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
That's why you need to sound really, really fancy and posh. As if you're saying yes to someone, you say ears instead.
Yes.
Ears.
Yes, my
Ears.
dear.
No, stop ruining it.
You seem to forget that character was literally the
I
inspiration.
forgot.
Yeah.
It's very hard to forget that one of the most serious and intimidating D&D villains that we've ever had was inspired by a fucking meme.
It was inspired by a comedic character from the fucking Simpsons, which I love. So for those who don't know, because there's a few people who weren't on the stream previously.
So we've got newbies in here that don't understand this checks calendar. Oh dear. 8-year-old joke?
So, one of the villains that I used in one of my campaigns was a guy referred to as Alexandrus Bernard Crumblebottom. He was
my nemesis.
Yes. He was the antagonist for Blue's backstory, but what's also primarily a thing is that he was the mayor of a town that had fled from a major, like, undead invasion to the place that they live. The thing about this, which was the main issue, was he was notoriously capable at manipulating people.
Including me.
Yes. But the thing about it is that he's like, oh yes, well this is how I speak, you see. very serially, very silly. Like he's
Yes.
meant to be a goofy character because that's the veneer he's giving. He's making you think he's just a silly little guy.
He's just a silly guy.
He's just a silly little guy. That's all. You don't need to worry about him, and that's the point. You lower your guard because you're like, why would I take this guy seriously? When in all truth, he's a mob boss and also like a very, very brutal and capable physical threat.
Yes.
So, of course, Blue's character being a rogue, again, this being a monk, the primary thing is that monks are actually narratively very capable against rogues.
Yes, this is a fun thing that Das will know. Back when a lot of this stuff was a mystery to me, of like I knew bits and pieces, but a lot of it was actually still a mystery to me. In one of my sketchbooks, which I don't have to hand because packed, there is legitimately a page of me writing down rogue abilities of like, you know, disengage, uncanny dodge, all of this, all of that, sneak attack, and all of that, and then writing down like monk abilities and things like that, and also feats of like sentinel feat and things like that, and then drawing lines to them being like, this ability counters that ability, this ability counters that ability, and me staring at this page and being like, fuck, in a one-on-one fight I can never win. I can never win. Ah!
I am going to probably give Blue a bit of psychic damage. This is an incredibly old piece of art, and it's probably one of the few comics that Blue's actually done.
Oh god, it's so old!
It's so old, but I love it so much.
Oh, it's so old and cringe, but yes.
The narrative of this is that the again, this is something called a Napoleon syndrome. One thing that my characters tend to do is be fucking tall.
Yes.
I tend to have a lot of my characters be incredibly tall.
This one is an extreme for reasons we found out later.
He's actually a dragon.
He's actually a dragon. We didn't know that at the time, but it was definitely one of those things afterwards of like, well, that explains why he's goddamn 9 foot.
He was at no, okay, no. Take care, Alex. Much love, buddy.
Bye.
So she was about to like go, hey, by the way, this guy's a bastard. And instead of doing it, Crumblebottom just stares from the room he's in and just like looks at her and just starts stroking the beard. And she just like runs away, doesn't say anything. And when Dalgron turns his head at the time Creative, it's just, hello, what seems to be the matter, my lord? Is there anything I might assist you with?
Yep. What's being implied there is this was a very early sketch, which was in that picture quite tiny, but the tiny cut that Del has on her face was from him, and that was like a little bit of early lore that we were like establishing.
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it's like the design came before the lore of like she had a cut on her chin because rogue edgy, and then later on it was like, this bastard gave it to her, I've decided.
She has a cut in her chin because edgy, but also because backstory rogue.
Also backstory, yes. Tamara's a typical edgy rogue, and I'm fine with that. Sometimes we want a bit of edginess.
Absolutely. It is sometimes necessary to have your characters go through the trauma, as the kids would say.
Happy, well-adjusted people don't go on D&D adventures.
Except, I think one of your characters literally is. Am I mistaken with that? One of your Dragonborn OCs?
Yeah, oh, Jesus, how did I manage that? I yeeted my pen across the room somehow. Jedi, the paladin, is very much a lawful good and doesn't have an edgy backstory. Her parents run a pet shop. She has a pet pseudo-dragon, her family breeds them, and that's kind of about it. And while this is one of those things of like, yes, she is the least edgy character, she's kind of also the most boring. because there's no edginess to have as a backstory. It's like, but I find a lot of fun in having an edgy D&D backstory that comes to bite you in the butt later, and having Jedi and just being like, there isn't. It's like, okay. There's no
Very
there's no
true.
there's no tension. It's like because like with Kirok and to some extent Kika as well. Obviously there was the sky giants of the cloud giants are still out there somewhere, and even if Kirok wasn't necessarily sure that they weren't like necessarily hunting her, it wasn't something that she was afraid of like necessarily being hunted, but she was terrified that they were still out there.
Yes.
And it was very much of like at any point a castle in the sky could appear, which at one point it did, and Kirok literally almost killed herself in panic by flying into the ground to get away
Yes.
from it.
That's how you display truly a character's fear in a really good way. And
Yeah,
it's always
of like this Aarakocra just flying through the air normally, and then Das being like, make a perception check. You can see a castle floating in the sky, and I was like, hell no, she nosedives like into the forest to join the party, but doesn't pull up
Doesn't hold
basically
back, just
because
goes
she
through.
panics and just literally plants into the ground. And then Das was like, cool, you take this much damage, and I was like, so yeah, that's something I did. And I'm sticking with it because it was good narratively.
yeah. It's a lot of fun when you can have like a really nice development with your characters of like, well, no, this is like where their backstory is. A lot of Thane stuff, like he was a noble from a country in the north, and it built throughout the narrative where I just came back to her and went, what about this? What about that? What about those?
Yeah.
What about these? What about
Yeah,
this?
that was how it was with Delmara. Just like stuff would happen, and then I'd take it and I'd like marinate on it and just be like, so what if this?
And funnily enough, referring to it, because this is quite fitting because it was around this time last year when you did it.
Oh, cool, baby.
When it came to this time last year when you were doing the actual art for it, the idea that Thane is basically, what if Crumblebottom wasn't evil physically is how he looks. He's of course smaller, but facial hair ends up looking the same. He's a bulky guy with muscle. It's like you can see the two things, and it's quite clear that I have a type. Anyway, we're moving on. What?
Whoopsie.
Oh well. Nothing wrong with that.
So with Tala's backstory, it was approached more similarly to Kirok. It was like a very clear transition of like Delmara to Kirok to Tala. Of like Delmara was like made with no backstory, and then the backstory was made retroactively. Kirok was made with like a little bit of backstory, and then that backstory was added to and tweaked a little bit, especially when we transitioned from Lost Mines to SKT, because the obvious like giant influence was like, well, we got to use this more. And then with Tala, it was definitely like her backstory of what happened to her was like concretely established, but in that backstory she didn't like learn a lot of information about them, and any information that was gained after was in the campaign.
Yes.
So it was still very organic of like Tala had her backstory in the bit of writing which you saw.
Yes, I've not had the privilege of reading.
Yes. But coming out from that, she didn't have any information, and it was only when she like went through her training and like it was very, very quickly established what she was trying to do that eventually she was given a name, and that was all she had to go off was a name. And then from that point, that was like where the campaign started. So Curls was like, you have a name, and that's like it. And that was when the campaign happened, and then it was like, oh, there was the whole bit with the maid and the voice, and it was like,
Yeah.
Tala, like that brief moment, which has happened for a few characters now, of like someone's talking to you, and then they make a reference to something, and you sort of hesitate for a moment, where your brain is like trying to register what that person just said to you. Of like, did you just reference my backstory? And it takes it takes a moment to compute of like, what What?
It's like, oh, by the way, you're the chosen of Tenros. Wait, what? It's like, there was never any doubt that he was. Except to him.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like when we were doing the bit in Distoon, when Delmara was talking to that lady, and then after the entire spiel and the entire conversation at the very end, it's just, he'd be very proud of you, and it was the, wait, what? It just completely derailed my brain of like, what?
Bertok. It was Bertok.
It was like, what did you just say?
Did I stutter?
And there's just that split second of like, I was concentrating. You've thrown me off my rhythm.
I'm sorry, but you've interrupted the Emperor's groove.
Yeah. Like, I was talking. I was confident. It was going well, and then you said that, and it really threw me off.
Well, that's the point. It was going very well. That's why she said it, to throw you off.
Yeah. It's like I dislike the fact that it's going well, and then you've said that, and it's going well because of what you've said, and trauma.
It's almost like she knows full well how to fuck with someone, and that she's Gal Garon's wife. It's like,
yeah.
You would know how to fuck with someone. Is that something you get when you join the family, or?
Yeah. It's like, thanks for that. I'm now gonna sit down in the corner for several hours staring at my knife, questioning my choices again.
Now there's worse things to do in the corner than question your knife.
D&D is fun.
It really is. Like, that is legitimately, nope, that's not hyperbole. D&D is legitimately
This is just
fun.
one of those funny things where it's just like you sit there for like half an hour explaining to everybody of Joyce, so like, oh my god, it was absolute torture. And I'm like, oh my god, that's awful. And we're like, no, it was amazing. Are you kidding? I'd do it again.
Fucking do it again. It's also just like really fun because Curls is such a good DM that she knows that she just has to flick a switch and she can just sit there and smile.
Mm-hmm.
Because she knows we're all gonna fucking run loops around whatever the fuck she just said.
We're just gonna go absolutely feral. Which is funny, because when it comes to, like, Delmara and my other characters, going feral is me just, like, screaming mentally, whereas with Tala, going feral is actually going feral.
Is a literal concept.
It's very literal in Tala's case.
Hashtag that's not her blood.
It's not her blood. What was the line I said? Tala's fur isn't very white anymore.
Yes. Followed up by, very shortly, have you ever fucked...
Oh no, that was before. That was before that.
Oh, that was before, pardon me.
Yeah, prior to that, the DM asked me how do I want to do this, and my description was, have you ever put an orange in a blender? Which remains the most visceral description of anything that I think we've ever had.
For those who are wondering why we're referring to putting an orange in a blender,
Werewolf.
she was casually approaches child, casually approaches lieutenant of the woman who murdered her entire family. And the worst part was, we were in a hallway, she was in a room ahead of us. She walked off screen, basically to the left, out of view, and the gore then catch the view.
Yeah, that they got basically one shot. I did a lot of damage in one go, and that was why Curls was like, what the actual... Okay, and I was like, that's why my brain was like, what's the most violent way I can describe this?
How do you violently want to do this?
It says, how do you want to do this? The answer is violently.
Good.
It's what she deserves.
How's allowed a little vengeance as a treat?
It's justified.
How many wives and sons have you, how many fathers and sons have you killed, brave Achilles? Curls would have no doubt gotten that quote way more apt than I would have.
That's neat. Just because I was curious, I left the Pokemon game panel open on the shop page, and I've just like refreshed it, and my money has actually gone up, which means even if I'm not talking in chat, at least if I'm streaming, I get stuff for it. Which means I'm gonna get a lot of stuff in this game because I stream all the time.
What's this? Blue is going to optimize everything she does in a Pokemon. No. Sorry.
Optimize everything for Pokemon. Hey yo, my friend traded me a shiny legendary and a shiny Celebi, and I was like,
I saw.
I was just like,
I then immediately saw the next one, which was, unfortunately, Nintendo Switch doesn't let me use the fucking emojis on this, but then just immediately...
just like, It was literally like when Curls traded me a bunch of her legendaries. She was like, the fun is in like hunting them, and then once I've caught them, I'm good. So like you'll have a better attachment to them than me. And I was like, I'm gonna love these. I love them. Thank you. And then I sat there and I was like, they haven't announced what the level range is for the Scarlet and Violet DLC, but like I need to make a new team because my main team from Scarlet and Violet is level 100 because of Endgame. So now I'm sat here just like, I've got a level 60 shiny Lugia. What if I put that in my team for the Scarlet and Violet DLC? It's not max level, but it's like, I mean, it's going to be above the level of the Elite Four, surely. So I'm like, level 60 is a good estimate, right?
Stacey just linked that across to me. It's in the dumbs.
Oh. Ooh.
I'm up
very nice.
But no, I think that is a good spot. I think.
Let Frog know that I really appreciate like the body shape and like the little rolls around the belly. I actually really appreciate that. That's so good. Very good body type.
I love it too, when it's on a character. I'm trying to get better at that, but so far I like it on a character. It is meant to be the mantra that Thane is meant to look like someone who's just able to pick you up.
A wild gold
your
duck
weight
has
category?
appeared.
No, you're about to be picked up.
A wild gold duck has appeared.
Must catch for Frog.
Gold duck.
You love side duck more, but I must catch.
Oh, that reminds me. Oh my god. Ah!
I'm out of balls!
Need to buy some. Oh my god. Kickstarter. Where's my freaking saved projects?
What do you mean I'm out of balls? I've got a fucking... Why does it not let me use,
If you don't have a Pokeball, then you have to specify the type of ball, like Core does, where he goes Poker Catch and then types the name of the ball. Poker Catch just defaults to Pokeball. But if you're out of Pokeballs, but you've got other kinds of balls, then you need to specify what they are. Or one word. There you go, Core. That tests that. Poker Catch won't use your Great Balls or Ultra Balls if you use it. Great Ball will be all one word. There you go.
I know I've said it to you before, but it is that like joke I have in my head that on a playlist somewhere that Curls will never reveal to me, there's Lucille's song, and it's just this holiday season, give me a big boy, I need a big boy, give me a big boy. Because I'm nothing if not typical.
you get it.
Poggers. Poggers in the chat.
Come on, where's the thing I was looking for? That's gonna be all the way at the bottom, isn't it?
Fair, core, fair.
There it is. A friend sent me this on Instagram. I will forward this to you if you're interested to follow it for Frog, because it's got a Psyduck in it. And I think it got sent to me because it has a Lugia in it.
Panic.
I think it got sent to me because it has a Lugia in it, and I'm like, yeah. Oh, they've added in a new one. Those are new. They weren't here when I last looked.
I'm sorry, but the bigot bopper.
There you go then.
That
Yeah,
that is like.
They were like, more designs coming soon, so I guess that they've smashed a couple of
These are
stretch
the
goals.
designs, and they have come soon.
They must have like stretch goals for if we make it. It's a Kickstarter I've linked, by the way. I'll show it. I'll just show it on here. They're there.
I think it would be worth putting that in the stream. Get that little shout out because that's a good one.
Yeah, this got sent to me. This got sent to me on Instagram by a friend, and it's very cute. And I love the Ho-Oh and the Lugia, and I might back to get the pair of the Ho and the Lugia. But I noticed that there was a Psyduck, so when you were like, "Oh, Golduck," because Frog loves Psyduck, I was like, "Oh, Frog loves Psyduck," and I was gonna send this thing, and I forgot. It's got a little Psyduck, but they've added in two more.
Indeed.
Yeah, there you go, chat.
Enjoy that, folks.
They're just pins, but look at them. They're really cute, and they also have stickers as well. But yeah, I really like the Ho and the Lugia, and I might back for a Ho and a Lugia later. I don't know. 15 days.
Oh dear God.
I might not.
Sorry,
I might
into...
not get my Twitch payout before then. So.
That's fair.
Twitch pays out in the middle of the month for me.
I just like was tabbing through things on the screen as I was playing this game, and I look over and it's like, oh, okay, this is happening in game. That's fine. And then I see one of the guardsmen get hit, and it's like that guardsman just exploded. That's not hyperbole. Like all his limbs literally was. He became a miniature in game. All his limbs just went. Is that incredibly grim? Yes. Is it apt for what would happen if a mortal man got hit by a bolt gun? Also, yes. Because again, they shoot monster energy cans that are highly explosive and sharp. Spicy. I have also forwarded that on to Safak.
Let's see, Pride pins, $20, about £16 for two. So obviously they are independent. You could get a Psyduck and a Bopper.
Yes. Bopper, Junior Whopper.
I'm curious what other ones that they might reveal. 15 days left to go. I'm gonna hit the old remind me button on that. There we go. Unfortunately, because of tailored ads, my Instagram does occasionally also advertise to me a Kickstarter going on at the moment that's for plushies, and every time I see it, I'm like, no, the Raven plushie is actually really cute. I'm like, no, I want a plushie Raven now. I hate it. I hate that I love plushies so much because I love them. But I'm like, plushie Raven though. I'm a little bit meshy.
Yeah, that's another character that's like, I love Mechalon. I think about
love them
Michelin more
too.
than I care to admit.
That's fine, because you know how much my brain freaking rattles around with basically all of Blood and Sand. I love all of Blood and Sand, just the entirety of it, honestly.
It's one of the things that I can truly, with no hyperbole, say I'm quite proud of.
Oh, there's 2 hours left. Oh no, I basically have to decide if I want it or not. Here's the other Kickstarter that keeps getting shown to me, Weighted Wildlife. And I know I'm probably going to shock everyone when I say that I'm actually kind of not interested in the wolf or the fox. I don't know why. But I remember seeing it and thinking, aw, the eagle's cute. I like the eagle. He's cute. And then later towards the bottom, they were like, hey, stretch goal unlocked. We don't have a prototype for it yet, but we're going to get a raven made. And I was like, oh no. Oh, I really liked the eagle, and now you're making a raven?
There are many problems for you here.
I know, the main problem being that they are kind of pricey.
Gotta make the money.
I know. It's the shipping as well, mainly. But also I want it. If I'm like embarrassed silence tomorrow, I may have ended up owning it. Someone commission me! I do avatar retextures!
Someone buy me a birthday present and make Fluff draw it. Done. there's a part of me which is just so anxious for the return of Pop, but simultaneously it's like, just fucking jump in, kid. Just fucking jump in.
That's the best way to do
straight
it.
in.
Yeah. Rip the band-aid off.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. Also, I am going to be playing again tomorrow, or pardon me, on Friday in the same shop that I've been playing in for the last few weeks.
Hell yeah.
A lot of fun. Last week was like, oh, I get to play against the guy who's playing Dark Space Elves, basically, who have an infamous reputation with the guys from the faction that I like to play. That they once tried to raid their world, like, haha, we will attack and raid your world and like do all these terrible things because we're so evil. Ooh. And the Primarch Vulcan, who was raised on that planet, went, what if I just took these two hammers and beat you all to death?
What if I took a hammer and fixed the space elves?
You need more than a fucking hammer to fix these space elves, but I very much will appreciate the effort of, I'll give it a shot. And he just went around and just battered them, and the faction that I play has a notorious habit of just going, oh, you're very agile. Would you like to know what's the problem with being very agile? What are you meant to do against a wall of fire? Can't exactly dodge a wall of fire, my friend. It is just gonna hit you in the cheek, because unfortunately they don't have D&D evasion.
Scrubs. They don't even have evasion.
These elves don't even have evasion.
Just Shrek meme. They don't have evasion.
But what they do have is an immense amount of mobility. So when I was like, oh, I'll just take these guys on, my army that I play is very slow. The problem with being a very slow army is that this guy could just run straight through me like it was no one's business. I'm like, fuck it. Because he was so fast, he just kept away. When I got my hands on stuff, it was deleted, but it took so much effort to get my hands on stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So it was nish good.
Charge bug. I believe K is partial to what the charge bug evolves into.
There's worse things to like. In fairness, yeah.
Vicavolt.
Okay. I have a feeling this type of mission, right. Did I give myself a quick save? I did not. Well, this is unfortunate. This type of mission is basically you get four essentially objective areas, and there's guardsmen around these servitors that you have to protect. Servitors being the guys I mentioned before, who congratulations, you're now a fucking software, you're a fucking computer now for us. The problem is, you need to be really mobile, or you need to have a lot more abilities to do it. You can't just shoot and slightly hit things.
Mm-hmm.
So I've realized with okay, I'm gonna need to step back, and I'm going to need to at a later date do these missions, because I need way more abilities, because
even if I'm like, okay, I'll run 4 guys into this area, secure it, and then leg like 2 more to guarantee a different location, you still like get like overwhelmed eventually. Whereas if you have a lot of the like later game more mobility options, you can really make this thing work. So I'll just do them at a later one, because I'm sure there's an achievement that's been added for like do this with like as few as possible things dying kind of thing. They're always fun. They're like fun challenges. Again, a game that gives you secondary challenges that makes you really
Yeah.
want to do them. That's always the good shit. Also, I have a distinct habit of the first character you basically get a free level up with them. I have a distinct habit of making them Thane, because they're a character that has a immense sword, or like they're meant to be in like really really heavy armor, like they're meant to be like a kind of buffing frontline character.
Mhm.
So I of course was like, you shall be Thane, congratulations. Which means then every other option I'm like, okay, this one's gonna be Tala, this one's gonna be Zal, this one's gonna be Hurry. Even though those characters do not belong in this setting, of course, I'm like, this will be fun though. Is it narratively sensible? No. Is it fun? Yes.
That's what's important.
Yeah, boy. Because what I've realized with this is that you do tend to struggle because they'll just send such a swarm of little guys at you. You need a reliable way to cull them, because your guys just shooting them is legitimately not effective because there's just too many. Like this is the equivalent of someone using sniper rifles to kill just like, dredge zombies. Like it's
Yeah.
such waste of ammo. So I'm like, all right, I gotta find alternatives. Gotta find fucking alternatives. So hopefully I'll be able to figure it out next time I go into one of those missions, because the librarians I mentioned before, they're like a psyker unit.
Mhm.
Like they're the psyker of these guys, which means that they're really, really, really fucking good at their job. These are the guys that when a greater demon shows up and starts causing havoc, they go, okay, I'm gonna hold him for like, I can hold him for maybe a minute. Everyone fuck him up while I do. And the fact that he can hold one for a minute is a fucking biblical feat, for example. And he can do teleports around the map, like really, really conveniently easy to do teleports. And sometimes you can just grab the whole squad and go, hi guys, everyone here, please. Which is really fucking useful, obvious reasons. On the server, we just had someone who's like one of the moderators just go through and go, all right, has everyone here gotten a ticket? And it's like, I have. And just like a little tick emoji next to all of our names as we've said it is like, and just add it to the list. It's like, yay.
Hey.
But I did lose the game I played on Friday because basically I got absolutely deleted off the board from quite a long distance away, which is why I brought those guys who shoot grenades. Just to be like, they will launch grenades from a distance. You must come and solve this issue because they're very good at taking your things out. If you don't, I'm going to keep shooting at you from a distance. And then, of course, all my other stuff, which is really low mobility and low range, goes, perfect, thank you. We are more than happy to have all these people clumped. Have flamethrower.
Today's game of what layer? That
Whopper, Whopper, Junior Whopper is now stuck in my fucking head.
Whopper, Whopper, Triple Whopper, Junior, Double, Triple Whopper, Flame Grilled taste with perfect toppers.
It's a little banger of a thing, isn't it?
Yep.
Also, this is one thing I do like about this game is that you can kill things with the environment, i.e., launch them off a ledge. It's like, I am one of the greatest of Nurgle's followers and a really durable lord. Yes, but are you resilient to gravity, sir? With your half-a-ton frame? Nope, have fun with this grenade. They've also updated, in the latest edition, they've made grenades a lot more powerful, which is fun, because previously they were quite pitiful or didn't really do a lot, and now it's like, actually, you can punch a hole in something with these, which is great. Our art is going great, Den. Thanks for asking. I think it's going great. Is it going great?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, I was focusing on stuff. Yeah, it is going great.
I'm just hyping you up on the cash.
I was literally like exporting this as like a PNG to like send to be like, here's progress. So yesterday on stream, it was very funny because yesterday's stream I mostly like did the guy that's on top of it. I did this and I literally like clipped this and sent it to them and went, "Can I get a yeehaw?" And I got a yeehaw.
I want to be a cowboy, baby.
Now the question of where did you export that to? Oh, lovely. Just exported it into the same file place that the file is saved. That's neat. And Jesus, it is 5 to 11, so
Yeah.
that's decent. Ugh. Pending any feedback looking at this, I guess it's going to be the tricky part, which is going to be the quote unquote animating it, and I'm already like, ugh. Not an animator, but I do my best. The bit that's going to be tricky. Yeah, it's one of that awkward position of, instead of overrunning, we're slightly underrunning, where it's like, well, it's very close to the end,
Well,
so
that's all good.
I don't want to be like doing anything more, but I do want to like run through the full
Yeah,
thing.
no, that's fine. I'll fill the void for a hot minute because
Because you've got more
we all
Warhammer
know I
to
can
talk
talk
about.
shit. Actually, I'll do it Uno reverse and I won't talk about the Warhammer.
Oh my
What I will talk about is Age of Wonders 4 and the fact that I've made Galgarond in it.
Oh, right, because it's got like a dragon thingy in it now.
Yes, dragons got added. I bought that bitch of a DLC and it's like, so basically you
God.
can. One of the main premises of the game is that there is a type of there's the hero leader, quote unquote,
Yeah.
which is just a common man who has risen up to lead the people. Then there's the Wizard Kings. What's quite interesting about the Wizard Kings is that the Wizard Kings do not You can choose whenever you do like a race augmentation, i.e., make everyone like touched by the earth, make everyone all of these, make everyone all of that. You can choose to have him not become them, so he doesn't get their positives, but he also doesn't get their negatives. And the other side of it is he is just, oh no, you're still my serfs. Don't forget that. That kind of way. The dragons have the same kind of thing where you don't buff them the same. But what you are able to do is that easiest way to describe it is the game essentially has like a form of traits in that way of at level 4, 8, 12, and 16, I think, you get these traits. And they're like unique things, so like say you can make a leader, like a summoner of monsters, beasts, and so on, or like powerful melee caster, or spell caster, or like a great leader. With the dragons, it really amplifies like one element of them, like it might make their breath weapon hit like a fucking truck. But at level 8, the feat options you get are what aspect they're tied to. So, like, you designed the dragon, so I made him, of course, very golden. But you can actually pick up the shadow aspect, which gives him, like, at his chest, kind of like purple underlying element to him. And he gets, like, all these benefits of, like, if he makes enemies, like, lose morale and run in a battle, which is relatively easy for dragons to do, because, like most RPG settings, dragons instill a lot of fear when you're against them. And now, because of that, all I have thought of is the absolute unequivocal horror of Galgarond infested with Zentralis blood.
Oh, Lord.
That's a raid boss we don't need.
No, it is not.
That's a raid boss where I hand curls his stat block and go, right, he's somehow gotten into this world and is infected by Zentralis blood in this one shot. The fuck does he become? Best of luck. But that kind of like got stuck in my head with it. And as we've been talking, I've sat there and realized I could make Crumblebottom in this, except I wouldn't be able to do a monk, shall we say?
Mm-hmm.
But I would be able to make like a leader of a shadow or like a dark empire kind of thing, and like he manipulates people. All the things he gets from like taxes or like trade deals with people are incredibly one-sided, and the people's get no benefit. He exclusively like makes money off of them, not the reverse, and that kind of stuff. Which again, all really apt.
Yes,
so I'm like, ooh, I could have a lot of fun with making.
Well, it's one of those things of like he was a monk in D&D, but that's because monk was the best like thing that suited him. But you said yourself that he's more of like a bruiser, brawler kind of thing.
Yes.
Not the meditative type of monk, the beat the shit out of you type of monk.
Yes, very much so. The brute and not the sage. Very much so the kind of character who has zero qualms about, just simply put, murdering someone who's gotten in the way, because it's not profitable for you to keep breathing. Which, I don't care what anyone says, I think that's metal as fuck to say. It's a great way to influence him. Like, it's a great way to, like, set him up and, like, paint him as the way that he is, because he is a terrible person. But, yeah, it's more like he was a brute, and, like, it was, like, a cruelty in his manipulation of people, rather than, like, his capacity as, like, a monk. Like, this is a guy who made his riches when he was young, betting on himself in fight pits, kind of thing. He was that great of guy. So that's kind of like, there's no like, mentality or like sense of like calm about it. It is just, no, I'm fucking ruthless. You want me to kill that kid? I'll fucking kill that kid if that kid gets me what I need. But if I can make that kid kill someone for me before then killing them, and ergo making myself look like the good guy for putting down the bad kid, I'll do that. Because he is the definition of a politician. Yes, I could help you, but what is helping you?
Oh, Frostmoth!
Oh shit, a Frostmoth.
Okay, catch.
Bullshit.
You don't own a great ball. You need to buy more Pokeballs.
You require more Vespine gas.
Need to go to the shop.
I'll do that later.
Yay! Oh my god, I got a Frostnoth and a Snom! I've got both of them!
Yum.
Hell yes, I got both of them! Yes!
Also, Blue, for the longest time, with Age of Wonders 4, of course, you and less than anyone else who's been remotely in visual shots of me, I've sent screenshots of Thane in that game. And let me say, when I was playing a custom map and Galgaron was there influencing people, and Thane declared war on Galgaron, I was like, you brave son of a bitch. And then I had the issue because Thane had run a feudal empire, so like it was very expansive and it was very solidly set up. It was like, oh shit, this is actually a nut to crack. Fuck. And it's like, oh shit, I'm about to do Guan Chi 2 on poor Thane. Yeah. Poor bastard.
I don't know that Pokemon I like moths though. That's a rare occurrence. A lot of people that I know really dislike moths, and I wouldn't say I dislike them, but I don't like them flying in my face. However, this was a rare case of me going into a Pokemon game and not knowing all of the Pokemon. So when I saw Snom for the first time in game, I genuinely had never seen it before, so it was a very organic sort of like, oh my goodness, what is this sort of like experience for me. Doesn't really happen. Like, I ended up not going into Scarlet and Violet all that blind either, because again, just existing on the internet, I don't care about it. It doesn't upset me, but it's when it happens, it's like, it's so good. So yeah, Snom is a sweet little bean. They are very cute. And I did evolve it, because I didn't know what it evolved into, and it evolved into Frostmoth. And a lot of people definitely prefer Snom over Frostmoth, but I also very much like Frostmoth. I put Frostmoth on my team, I souped up its special attack, and it ate up the Dragon Gin. It's ice type. It devoured that Dragon Gin. I was very happy with my Frostmoth. It's very pretty.
Those motherfuckers were made of cloth the way they got eaten.
So yeah, but Snom is a good boy as well. Snom is a very good boy. They evolve via high friendship as well. They're so sweet. They're just so good. They're friend-shaped. I love Snom, and I like Frostmoth as well. I like both of them.
Given that I don't have, I'll have to check with Stacey if she wants to do anything, but given that there's not much I'm doing on Saturday, I might actually do the whole stream of Warhammer thing.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? And just like that, we've had our extra few minutes, and it is time to end. I very much need the bathroom and also a cup of tea. Thank you so much, everybody, and of course, thank you, Seti, as well, for the raid. It's very much appreciated. Yeah. I stream pretty much every day of the week except Saturday, which means you can go watch Das. And I hope to see you tomorrow on my double stream day, where I will be streaming twice, because this is what I do. So tomorrow I will be doing artwork again tomorrow, potentially more sprite work. And in the evening, me and Kels are going to be playing Dragon Age Origins. We are potentially going to be finishing it as well. So it's going to be the end of the game. There's a very strong
possibility that you finish it tomorrow, and I don't know how to feel about that. I'm going to keep it real, Chief.
Yeah, we might finish tomorrow. So, yeah, come join in for that, because that's our whole thing that's going to be occurring. And, yeah, I hope you guys have a good time.
Take care, folks. Have a good evening.
Yeah. Do I want to raid? I don't raid. Let's just pick someone out random.
That's on the camera, yeah.
Pop them up. There we go. I don't know what they're doing. Hopefully they're not about to end, because that happens a lot. They're watching videos. Cool. Let's go. Right. Take care, everybody. I love you, loads. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Take care, my dears. Ah!